Are live. What's up, everybody? This show is brought to you today by Essentia. Didn't realize that's in the frame. My name is Ryan Zolin. This is Landry Morby. This is Agent Outreach Live. So if this is your first time tuning in, this is a show that we designed based on a strategy within real estate investing, specifically wholesaling. But I teach an acquisition strategy called Agent Outreach, and then also we find deals on the MLS. The reason why that's typically appealing for people when they're first getting started in real estate investing is because it doesn't cost you anything every single month. The thing, and I guess one of the reasons I'm passionate about teaching people in real estate was because I always felt like there was a lot of fluff. I mean, social media alone is always the highlight reel, but some of the things that aren't always highlighted or talked about enough in real estate investing is time. I mean, time could be 6 to 12 months to get your first deal. I have a lot of friends that are worth a lot of money that have made millions of dollars in real estate, but it took them 6, 8, 10, 12 months of hunting for that first deal. So while it's not always sexy, I think it's worth being transparent that if it could take you time, let's make sure it doesn't also cost you money. When it costs money every single month, not only is that something that adds extra stress, that's something that adds a lifespan to your business. I mean, what people don't talk about in real estate is survivability. I mean, I mentioned how scarce deals can be when you're first getting started. Survivability, that's literally number one rule of small business, stay in business. So I start off the show not to scare you, but to pull back the curtain and tell you guys, this is exactly what we're trying to accomplish with this show. It's pulling back the curtain and showing you guys behind the scenes of calling agents. The first, I don't even know how many calls we've done, 5, 6, 7 weeks, however many episodes it's been agent outreach off market. Off market is what a lot of real estate investors go for. Off market agent outreach is trying to find agents to bring you anything that they have as a pocket listing, anything that is an up and coming potential seller, anything along those lines that isn't already on market. Obviously, like I mentioned a minute ago, the second part of our business is finding on market deals. So I want to make sure that we stress that agent outreach is not just in the form of off market opportunities. Agent outreach live is also going to show you guys how we can find on market opportunities. So the reason why Landry's here, obviously, she helps make this show super smooth. She's a lifesaver. We appreciate you. Landry is with Batch Services. So if you guys are not familiar with Batch Leads, Batch Service, Batch Skip Tracing, this is one of the softwares that my team uses literally every single week. So we pull lists of data for agent outreach. Today, we're going to show you another variation. It's actually going to be us going and finding on-market deals. Landry will still have some of the information blurred. Unfortunately, we got to stay within YouTube's guidelines. But we're going to show you guys how we can find on-market opportunities with Batch and why we're looking at those specific deals. And then we're going to call the agents and have some fun. So that was my long, expanded intro. Landry, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Yeah, always looking forward to the show with you, Ryan. But I'm super excited because we're going to do something a little different today, guys. So I'm really looking forward to focusing on agents on market, just to really show that side, because I think it's super beneficial for anybody getting started that Ryan's always talking about. Why not start with something that doesn't cost you a bunch of money? So it's going to be really great. So where are we focusing in today, Ryan?
I think is it Tampa? Is that where the deals are? Okay.
Yes.
So we are looking in Tampa. I do have a little bit of bias. It is one of my markets. Pulled some strings behind the scenes to make sure that that was one of our markets today. But Tampa is a market that my team is actively buying in, with the exception of last month. It was a very weird month and only bought one. But with that said, Phoenix and Tampa are our two primary markets. So if you are looking for a buyer, because as I always say, first, you need to have a buyer before you are starting to look at deals. If you're confused, lost, you're blaming analysis paralysis or whatever it is, the odds are you're just missing a step in the process. So let's just make sure the first step is finding a buyer. So in these markets where I could go in and do these kind of shows, I want to show you if we're going to go look at on-market opportunities, I'm not just going to waste somebody's time. I'm going to go try to find someone that has an active listing that might show motivation as to why the seller would take a lower offer, and then just have a conversation. The cool thing, which is a variation, again, of agent outreach, is not just looking for off-market opportunities. The thought process that I always try to make sure I have for these deals is that if it's not this one, it's the next. The reason being is that I just want to have a conversation. I want to see if it's worth buying. Not every deal on the MLS is going to have every bit of information like it should. And I say that kind of like with an asterisk. They should have every bit of information. But if they don't, you don't know until you call. So for example, there was one that I saw, someone sent it to me, this was last week, and it said on the MLS, this was a waterfront property. It wasn't waterfront property at all. There was no water anywhere near this property. So just little things like that, obviously attention to detail on the MLS. What we're trying to establish here is a relationship that if you nurture properly, it becomes a win-win between you, the agent, and the seller, and everybody eats. So
Love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a just something that more and more people are looking at or considering, breaking into, which is so funny when you think about it. Cause I agree with you. I feel like this is a great place to start. If it becomes the bread and butter of your business, then great. But if not,
Absolutely.
like, why wouldn't you start with something like this? Because
Well,
people are literally raising their hand saying, buy
and
my
I think that everybody in real estate is biased. Like, I think
house.
everybody that teaches something, everybody that has their own community, everybody that has been doing real estate for 2 to 3 plus years, they have an opinion, and rightfully so. The thing that you will only ever hear me say about bias within this strategy is exactly what you just said, Landry. This is the best place to start, and I'm only telling you that because of my own failures. The things that's gonna pocket the other guru's money is you going and bringing money after money after money to learn something that's going to then take more money to go and do this business. And again, there's nothing wrong with direct to seller. I've tried it. It's not for me, but it could work for you. What I'm trying to get as a message across is that if we can get some money put back in your pocket from a strategy that doesn't break the bank, now we're in business. Now we could take the money that we made as profit. We could go and get a tax write off. We can go have an expense that would be investing into another mentorship, another community, maybe into ads or into direct to seller marketing. So if this ends up being your entire business focus, fantastic. That's exactly what I've done. If you want it to be just a leg of your business, that also works too. Let's just make it a starting point, and then we can figure out how to elevate from there. So
Awesome.
cool.
Well, what we are going to do today, as you guys know, and let's see if you can pull this up, Ryan, I'll kind of show
Yeah.
people how how I went about pulling this stuff today. And we'll play around with it. And you guys will have to let us know your feedback in terms of just what we're doing on the show and the value that we want to bring to you guys, if this is helpful and if this just gave you ideas on the types of lists you can pull. So what I did is I went into Tampa through property search and batch leads, and I did a couple different things. And I'll ask you, Ryan, kind of what your thoughts are. I did a
Cool.
few different lists with this just because it can bring up varying different types of properties. And I'll show you some of the really awesome findings I got today. And it's going to be so awesome. So
Let's go.
I went into property search, went into Tampa. And then in my filters, I think I did do property type. I made sure that they were single family. I didn't want to pull up
Okay.
any multifamily or anything. So we're just focusing on regular properties today. And then I went into MLS status, said yes on market, active listings. I did a couple different things with days on market. The first person you're going to call today, the property that they've listed has only been on the market for 2 days.
Okay.
I also pulled a list where I did a minimum of 60 days. I don't know
Okay.
if you have insight that you want to share with everybody. Like, what's the point of that? Like, why would it be, why is that advantageous to go after
Sure.
something that's super brand new on the market compared to later down the line? Like, what's the
Great
difference?
question. So a lot of times direct to seller, we hear what's the best list. And in the past, we've talked about agent outreach lists, and we're like, well, it doesn't really make sense to have like a preference on this because an agent is going to be a lot of just luck of the timing, right? With on market, it's actually different. This is where it gets to be a little bit more precise, strategic, systematic, whatever you want to call it. So there are going to be some filters on market that are going to trigger potential better opportunities than the rest. So one of them, which you mentioned first, is days on market. Days on market, in my opinion, golden nugget. This is the best motivating factor in this current market. The one thing you'll hear me say, which is always going to be from a realtor perspective first, is that I'm going to think about it from the legality and I'm going to think about it from the logistics. So the legality, I need to make sure obviously everything's buttoned up, it's done legally. Logistically, this needs to make sense, not just for me, for the seller, and for the agent. So days on market. If I was an agent and I had a listing and it was sitting for 60, 90, 120 days, do we think they're having fun conversations with the seller? Or do you think that after the end of their day, another week goes by, they have no showings, no offers? What phone call do you think they're dreading the most? It's
The
probably the
seller.
one with the seller, right?
Yeah.
So if that's what they're dreading the most, days on market is not just the biggest motivating factor to a seller, it's the biggest motivating factor to an agent. So some key notes I would make. First off, the average listing is typically a 6-month contract. So 30, 60, 90 days, we're talking a pretty hefty percentage of the length of time they have to list and sell this property. It's creeping up pretty quickly. on top of that, why would an agent be motivated? I mean, if it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell. It's like selling Sunset, right? They've got $50 million listing after $50 million listing. It's that easy.
No.
Wrong. Agents spend time, effort, money in marketing. Remember, agent outreach, we're trying to get agents to find clients, which that's what they're doing anyway. What would they do to find a client? They're going to spend a lot of money. So this is not just time, this is money in marketing to find a prospect, somebody willing to sell their home. Then they've got to nurture that client. They've got to wait for the right moment in time for that seller to say, yes, I'm ready to sell. Well, now there's a lot of moving pieces. Now you're paying for a signpost to go out front. You're spending gas to go out to the property a number of times. You're paying for professional photos. You're paying for, maybe you have a concierge service, but it's still money out in marketing this property. By the time it's all said and done, they're stressing because if they lose the listing, they're out potentially a couple $1,000s in what it took to get the lead, to get the listing and market it. So at the end of the day, if days on market is 60 plus in this current time on September 26, 2023, yeah, I would say days on market's the best motivating factor you could go after. Right now, what I'm teaching a lot of people within our community is 45 plus days, just because you
Mhm.
a little bit after that awkward gap. The first
Yeah.
30 days is typically the hardest for a listing. After that, there's a little bit of a sense of disconnect emotionally with the agent and the seller. So
Mm.
45 days plus. On top of that, I mean, if you're looking for the 60-day plus group, try just a little bit before 55 plus days. So
So what are your thoughts too on when it is like super short, like it's super brand new fresh, if it's something that it has to be an investor that's getting, do those go super quick like that? Is that on the other side of things
great question.
something that you should explore too?
It definitely depends on the market. I think a
Yeah.
lot of the markets out there right now, we're seeing a huge supply issue. So a crazy amount of demand with a lack of supply. It's a seller's market still. I mean, there's a property that's like 3 or 4 houses down from me that was listed, in my opinion, a little bit too high, and they got multiple offers day one. So supply and demand issue is still there.
Yeah.
What I found, and this is just personal preference, I'm actually going to kind of contradict what I teach here typically. I don't recommend day one, day two, day three on market deals. I'm going
Mhm.
to show in this conversation that we could still have an opportunity come of it where the agent could still have the relationship with me. But the odds of finding a lot more competition in a day one, day two, day three day on market, you're going to find that it's a little bit harder. So, not to deter people to go the path of least resistance, but just to be transparent, the competition in day one, day two, day three is a lot more. So I always just share that. But then also just make the note, like you're looking for the relationship. Doesn't mean you can't get the deal. We've done it. It's just the full transparency is that there's other wholesalers. I mean, people go and do the same strategy. We're teaching it right now on YouTube Live. So someone's going to take how we calculate our numbers. They're going to offer 5, 10, 15K higher. The only thing that I think you're doing a disservice with, first off, not selling the deal to me, but the next one would be, just so you know, messing with people's livelihoods. If it's too high and the price that we can offer is here, this amount, and you offer this just to get the deal under contract, odds are the cancellation rate's a little bit higher. So where we make a lot of our money from day one, day two, day three, day on market properties, we actually just got one yesterday sent to us by another group of wholesalers.
There you
On
go. Yeah.
it, it's falling through from another wholesaler. They're the one in second position because of the relationship they built with the agent, that it's going to come to them next. So
Awesome. Yeah.
there is opportunity everywhere. Just knowing the kinks of on market is kind of something that takes a little bit of time.
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys will kind of get to see both of those, both sides of something that's been sitting there and something that's like brand spanking new. And it literally found a couple that I'll show you guys before Ryan makes his first call to one of these agents. But that's all I did. I think I did do a listing price. I looked up the median sale price in Tampa, and then I looked on the lower end, just because when you get your results, you're going to get a lot of things that were just fix and flip that are on the market and look really great. And obviously, for this example anyway, is not what we're calling about. Maybe if you were looking for buyers. But anyway, I also adjusted like the listing price and made it sure it was a little bit on the lower end, which helped
Cool.
get some really good results as well. So anyway, when you guys apply that, you'll get your results, and then you can start looking into the details like this. I do have everything blurred, but this is going to be the first property that Ryan's going to call on today. This property has been owned for 19 years. And check out where they say looking for a dream starter home or savvy investment opportunity.
All right. Well,
Really,
before I
really,
make the call, I gotta deep dive into that, because the description is something that is a very common practice when finding on market deals. This is a keyword search. a keyword search for a property is going to be money. What exactly is a keyword search? So if I were to type in the word in an MLS search using the MLS, I could type in the word invest. Well, the word invest would be triggered here because of in the description, it says looking for your dream starter home or savvy investment
Mm-hmm.
opportunity. So because the word invest is in there, it would have flagged it. This would be one you could go after. Just being mindful too, this is one of the paths with least resistance. So if the keyword is going to be up there, the only thing that I have to make as a mental note going into this, I can't take it personal. There might be 50 million offers on this property with every bit of term waived, contingency waived, because they're just looking to get an opportunity. That's how few there are deals out there right now, regardless of on market or off market. So we always say 20% of the people do 80% of the business. I'm making the argument right now 10% of the people are doing 90% of the
Mm-hmm.
business. So that 10%, where do you find them? You got to get in the rooms with them. Whatever they're doing, I'm not saying copy, find a way to provide value to those people in the form of a service and see what it is that comes of it. There's opportunity everywhere, and we're going to show it, regardless of if it's day one on market or day 50, and we're just going to have some fun.
Cool. Let's go for it.
We're calling Charlie. Charlie is the realtor, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
And I have the info up and we'll make notes for you.
Good.
Hello?
Hey, is this Charlie?
Yeah, speaking.
I'm calling about a property that I think you've got listed out on 84th Street in Tampa. Is that one still available?
Yes, it is.
Oh, awesome. Okay. So I mean, I'm interested in purchasing it myself. I'm not sure if you'd be able to help me or if I should talk to someone maybe on your team.
Well, if you got something that's going to be acceptable, it'll work.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I've got it pulled up right now. Full transparency, I mean, I'd have to run my numbers. I just wanted to call and introduce myself before deep diving into it or wasting anybody's time. So, I mean, I see it was just listed. Is the seller's number that it's listed at, is that kind of like their firm number, or do you think they'd be open to something maybe a little bit lower?
You mean the 220?
Yeah.
Not too much lower. They've been getting a bunch of low ball offers already.
Gotcha. So they were getting lowball offers like off market then?
Yeah, I don't think they'd be interested in anything under 200.
Under 200. Okay. Well, I mean, that's good to know. Is there anything from the photos that I should like know about that I can't see? I mean, it looks to me like it's a pretty cosmetic flip. But I'm just not sure if there's anything like major, any like foundation, structural, roof, AC, plumbing.
As far as I know, there's nothing major there. The roof, the metal roof, is only 2 or 3 years old.
Okay. There's no leaks or anything.
No, there's no leaks now.
Okay.
It's concrete block. The Citra AC works.
Okay.
The hot water heater works. It was recently leased out until just recently. So the people moved out and they decided to put it on the market.
Okay. Let me ask you, I mean, is the seller looking, with it being that it was a rental, I'm assuming it's still vacant then. Are they looking,
It's vacant.
okay. Are they looking for any specific terms like faster close or a shortened inspection, a specific title company, anything along those lines?
Well, we got a Pacific Title Company.
Sure. Okay.
You know, they want to sell it. They don't want to waste no time.
Sure. Okay. Is this the best number to give you a call back at? I just have to run the numbers with my contractor and make sure that we're on the same page. But then
Yeah.
after that, I could send you over a text or I could call you back, whatever's best for you. My offer, I don't like going that kind of cliche route of just saying it's fast cash as is, any of that kind of stuff. I want to be like the guy that's easiest to work with. So if you want to check with the seller if there's any other specific terms or if you even already know it, I'll reach out to you after I've ran my numbers. And then if it makes sense, I'm not sure if it would be okay if you represented us or if I should go unrepresented to net the seller more. I'm pretty flexible on that end.
Well, if you got a number that the seller's going to agree to, I can work with you, no problem.
Cool. Okay. Well, perfect. What I'll do then is I'll run the numbers. Give me just a little bit of time. I'm actually going to be meeting with my contractor here in a few. Let me run the numbers with him and then I will give you a shout back. And if it makes sense, we can get an offer written up tonight then.
Okay, what's your name?
My name is Ryan.
Right. Okay, Ryan.
Awesome. Thanks, Charlie. I appreciate it. All right, guys. Let's calm down. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. Can't be that easy, right? I mean, one phone call, one offer. I mean, Ryan says submit 5 offers a day minimum, and he just did one in 5 minutes. It can't be that easy. I mean, I'm just kidding. It was.
Yeah.
It was that easy. It doesn't always work like that.
Easy.
That's
Yeah.
not how the cookie always crumbles. But what I want to share with you guys, the cool part about this and the reason we do this show, pulling back the curtains, that's a beautiful conversation example because he doesn't have any offers. He doesn't have anybody else. Like he said, they had a lot of lowball offers. Let's talk about the conversation. He said they were already getting a lot of lowball offers. I didn't quite ask, well, what exactly is a lowball offer to you? I just said, okay, well, that makes sense. That sounds like it was off market. He said, yeah, that's why they listed it. Okay, well, then we unpacked that it was a rental. We know that it's vacant. We know the roof is newer with no leaks. We know that it seems like it's just mostly cosmetic. I mean, we can make the fair assumption there's going to be a big ticket item there. But what did he say? We went from 220 to 200K, 20K below list price, day 2 on market. That was before I got to the motivating factor that they have a preferred title company, which, by the way, 99.9% of sellers don't. It's the realtor that has a preference in title company. And I also offered the realtor to represent me to make twice as much money in commission. So by him getting title and dual commission, I don't think my offer is 200. I think just off the first conversation, my offer is 180, 190, and I think they jump at it all day long. This seller's motivated. They said it's an investment opportunity waiting for you. It's sitting just a couple days, so I'm sure it's going to get offers over this weekend if it doesn't sell this week. But why wouldn't you want to go after that? I mean, that just had a system do everything for you. If you're a licensed realtor, obviously you could find these on the MLS doing the same thing. The reason we want to show you guys a different section to this is that I didn't mention just the relationship. I went in there with the intention to buy that deal. From there, what my exit strategy becomes, I mean, the options are endless. I could fix and flip it. I could buy and hold it long-term or short-term. I could do, I guess a pad split still in the long-term rental. I could go and do some kind of like a creative finance structure with this deal. There's a few different things we're going to have to figure out, but we got to run the numbers. So what I'm going to do and make a note of is the very first call that we made was a good one. Let's just keep an eye on that. I'll run the numbers with my team afterwards. We'll submit an offer over. We'll keep you guys posted on if we get that next week. But that was just the first one. So
heck yeah. Next one we're going to call is, I'm going to send this over to you right now, and then I'll show my screen again so you guys can see this example. This is somebody that the property's been on for 101 days. So we can kind of show the difference of, obviously that was a good conversation, but, see what we kind of run into with this. So let me send this over.
Javier has a question in the meantime. What is the difference in the offer you are making when you bring your title company to the negotiating table? Perception. The dumbest thing within agent outreach and MLS strategies is going to be perception. And what I mean by that is there any, I don't want to say is there any, because there is a difference. Is there a substantial difference in title company A and title company B at first glance? No. The substantial difference is when you find out the quality of service and what their skill set is. So similar to realtor, similar to any service or vendor you use, some with more experience and better customer service have better quality. So what would that be for us? It would be investment friendly. So if they know wholesale, they know fix and flip, they offer discounts to investors, those are the differences that would entice us to want to go use that title company. So why would a realtor have a preference? Well, there's this cool thing in the realtor world where you can actually get shares to a title company. So they can get paid based on production they bring to a title company. Every single month they get paid out on what their production is. So we talk about like the double dip in our strategy. This is essentially how a traditional realtor could double dip. They can get paid in revenue from the business they bring to the title company if it is a franchise. So there is no real difference there, Javier. The biggest thing would just be perception. The realtor is more enticed to do that because they make more money, just like why they'd be more enticed because they make more money in commission. I don't love leading with dual agency, but being in Tampa, I'm not licensed there. So I'm not going in saying I'm going to represent myself. I'm going to go in saying, hey, wait, is there anything the seller's looking for here? Does this make sense? I asked him even at the end there to him, go back and check with the seller, make sure we're all good. Don't think he's going to do that, but that was a pretty smooth combo, and it wasn't off of anything more than just preference. So one more from Christine, and then we'll jump into that next one. Landry, what did Ryan mean by I want to be easiest to work with versus not the fast cash guy? My approach on this is just not your typical real estate investor wholesaler. I think the oversaturation of wholesale is what it is. I mean, competition is always good. It elevates people's business and makes you have to work harder and better.
Right.
So what I'm not doing here is talking bad on wholesale. What I am doing is talking bad on some of the practices within wholesale. So some of the practices within wholesale, whether it's a bandit sign or whether it's just trying to get your word out of trying to get more deals, you're going to end up trying to um, blend in. A lot of times they say fake it till you make it. It's acting like you're doing something that you haven't done before, which I think is very obvious to point out when you're an experienced investor. So where I'm going with it all is that not every deal is cash as is quick close. Where the game is deceiving in wholesale is a lot of times what investors do is they get a property under contract and then they have to retrade. They have to ask for price reductions because they weren't confident in their number or they didn't have a buyer lined up first. Where they are also wrong is they will go in and say, I will close in 2.5 days as long as title is free and clear, but they can't. And also too, not every time as a seller, maybe even if it's occupied, wanting to sell their house in 2 days. So I'm not fast as is like cash. I'm hard money, closing when you want and as is unless you didn't disclose something. So I try not to go and say it in a scary way like that might deter a realtor. I'm just going to say, I'm not looking to be your fast cash, quick offer. I'm looking to be the best offer that makes sense for the seller. So just a little bit of verbiage change, but something that will make you stand out different than the rest.
I love that. Yeah, because you will hear. I mean, everybody's swapping scripts and showing or saying the same things a lot of the time, and you kind of pick up on, just like anything. I feel like you pick up on something that sticks, and then that sticks for everybody else. So I think it's a good way to flip it around and more interesting for the realtor. Mm-hmm. So, real quick, show this other thing. I had to take it off to blur it, but just to give you guys an idea, just go give this a try. If you guys haven't already, it literally took me 2 minutes to pull 2 different lists just by playing around with days on market. Look up the median sale price in your market. That can really give you a good idea on like if you're not sure when properties start getting up to a higher point or are going to be more likely to maybe be taken care of or whatever. That always helps me have like a really good list in just a couple seconds. So this is a good one.
No,
yeah, guys, I rig these lists, but but actually not really. You guys could go pull the same exact thing.
She actually pulled the list of people that are only going to sell to Ryan Zolin for
actually pre-qualified them. Yeah.
Yes.
I call everybody before you do.
That's awesome. So this one on 29th, we're calling Sammy.
Yes.
And look in the description, investor special, another one.
Yeah. Make no repairs. Great one.
Hi, this is Sammy.
Sending her. So what I would normally do here is double dial, but I'm going to try to be efficient a little bit. I'm going to show you guys another style where you could double dial. I think you could also piss off the realtor. I always try to give them the benefit of the doubt. When I call realtors, I know a lot of them don't answer. And I'm just saying this like on a real personal level with you guys. I understand and I get that it can be extremely frustrating. One of the biggest things I teach in agent investors is patience and education. Not always is the agent can understand where we're coming from. So we have to educate them on why our process is the way it is and why our numbers are what they are. On the patient side, this isn't just patience and nurturing and following up with them. This is patience that they may not respond right away. So how good is your follow-up system? So in this case, what I'm trying to do with showing you guys another style, I called, I didn't let it go through the voicemail, just hung up. I'm going to send a text, say, hey, my name is Ryan. I'm interested in the property out on blank street. Give me a shout whenever you have a chance. Would love to chat with you more. Something along those lines that just tells them why I'm calling them or why I had tried to call them, why they should call me back. And then remembering the realtor will obviously reach back out to you. It's a listing they have that isn't selling. So why wouldn't they answer the phone? Well, our good mentality, our abundance, shout out to Jamil for this. This is the agent is doing open house. The agent is showing a house to a client. The agent's so busy with closings. They're at the closing table right now, signing on another deal. In a perfect world, they're signing on a deal for us, but it's okay. So what we're trying to do here is just give them the benefit of the doubt, send a text, introduce yourself, get to the point as to why you called, and then entice them to call you back, which would be in the form of a deal. So in this one, I just said, hey, Sammy, this is Ryan calling about your property on blank avenue. Just wanted to see if it was still available. I'm interested.
Perfect. I'm going to get you another one.
Albert,
What do
great
you
question.
do? Oh, wait, sorry. You answer that question first, and then I'm going to ask
Cool.
you something, pick your brain a little bit.
Okay. Albert said, what would be the best way to determine repair values for a market? I love this question. I actually think this question is better than like the proof of funds typical easy questions, because this is something that you're doing the work. You're trying to get to a logistical question. Repairs. So this is going to be best determined by a contractor. The thing I always just want to make sure we're making note of is that we're not trying to waste a contractor's time. So what we've done is it's okay to get bids. It's okay if you're going to go out there and do some renovations to your personal home. You may not use the first contractor you talk to. So you're going to want to get bids. You're going to want to tell a contractor, this is a property I'm looking at flipping. Just want to see ballpark what kind of range you'd be in. The thing where I don't know if this is just different or what, I don't let them work for free here. If they're going to do this in a market where I don't have experience or connections, even if they're just giving me a quote, because odds are you're probably trying to wholesale and not going to flip this house, you don't want to waste their time. So nobody works for free. Why would you? So in this case, why not just throw over a couple $100? And you want to see who responds the fastest? It's typically the contractor you took care of before you were even working on a project together. So it's just a good judge of character, but then it's also kind of like a little trick and hack to be able to build a relationship with somebody that can give you actual numbers. From there, what we've done is we've established relationships with contractors where they give us bids on properties, and we could use that when showing to a seller or to an agent what it's actually going to cost us in renovating a property. Option two, you could always find a buyer or a realtor that is fluent in the investment space, but similar to providing value, just make sure you're telling them something that isn't a lie. I don't like when people go and say, I'm going to go buy this property. I've got 50,000 doors. I'm the next Grant Cardone. Like, chill out. We're completely normal humans here. It'd be cool if you came in and I actually like this style, going in and trying to be over communicative or overly transparent rather than trying to play the game of my partner's doing this and so-and-so's doing that. And I've got to go chill. We're trying to be ethical business owners that are looking for repeat business through networking. So if we're looking for repeat business, people do business repeatedly with people they know, love, and trust. That needs to be you. Cool.
Love it.
What was your question?
My question was, okay. Oh, I was going to say, what are your thoughts because I feel like this is such a helpful thing to really dive into the description. And we'll call this other one as well. This one, I think we've even brought up before, and it's still sitting on the market. It's been on the market for 153 days now. Yeah. Boarded up windows, stuff like that. It's not even that terrible or as terrible as you think inside. But anyway, what I'm saying, it's a little different than this property. But what do you do if you see a description that it needs an investor, but it says no wholesalers? I've seen something like that. I think in Tampa. No. It was in Memphis. There was something that came up with doing, by the way, the same type of filters like this. You guys can do it in any market to pull up good results like this. What do you do with something like that? I think I might have even asked you that before, but
I would love to call that one and show everybody what we do. Because there's a lot of different options. Most of the time, let's get to the root of it. Why would an agent put no wholesalers? With the exception of it being a court-ordered property, government-owned property, state-owned property, some kind of a legal sense not allowing it, maybe even like a short sale, that would be the only time I say that makes sense. So patience and education. Take a deep breath before you call them. You don't need to go in all like gung-ho, I'm going to kill this person. You just go in there and ask questions. Look, Let me ask you this. I see in there it says no wholesaling. Just for shits and giggles. Why? Because wholesalers aren't who they say they are and they're evil. Maybe. I'm not, and I also wholesale. So the reason I'm asking you is just because my intention is to purchase this property. Just bear with me, okay? We're going to pretend the guy's name is Billy. Bear with me, Billy. Let's pretend here that I have the property under contract. I'm a human. I make a mistake. I overshoot my cost of renovations. I don't love to go in and ask for price reductions. Even worse, I don't like to go in and cancel on a deal. Mm-hmm. If I had Tom is a buyer, a friend, a contractor, someone that I vetted out that I would need you just to trust, which also is my legal right in the contract that I can wholesale. I need you to trust that if I were to wholesale the deal and it kept the same terms with the seller, with you, everybody wins. What would be the concern if this guy bought the deal from me before or after I closed on the transaction? Because what usually most people recommend within wholesale like this is they would recommend going in double closing. So this is either finding like a gap funder that comes in that will fund the first leg of the transaction. This could be a private lender, a hard money lender. This would be some title companies and closing attorneys allowing you to use the end buyer's funds to purchase and close the first leg and purchase and close the second leg. It just kind of depends. So if they are allowing of that, I think that's a great option. The reason I don't love the gap fund option is just because it costs points. If you don't have a big spread in a wholesale fee, all it's doing is eating into your profit margin substantially. Like I'm talking 10, 15, 25 plus percent, that if you're only making 10K, 2,500 bucks in fees on lending is just, that's crazy. It doesn't make sense. If you're making 70, 80, 100K plus on a deal, gap fund, double close, have fun, make sure you protect yourself, protect your bag. Aside from that, I don't know if that answers the question or not, but
no, absolutely. Because I think that that might scare a lot of people. It's like, oh, well, if I'm wholesaling and that's all I'm doing, I better not call, you know?
well, and
What I
also, I
mean?
mean, look at the conversation structure I just had there. And I love that this is all recorded. You can go back and rewatch this. I don't care if I don't get the deal. And I might just be a very weird investor. But my thought process is that, again, if it's not this deal, it's the next. I
Yes.
want every deal. I don't need every deal. People that are selling typically need or highly want to sell, but they don't like have the motivation unless there's something pressing. So if I go in on every deal expecting a sale, expecting a deal, expecting $10,000 to already happen, I don't know. I mean, you're setting yourself up to get let down. And I think in this business, being as mentally challenging as it is, you need to celebrate the wins. You want to know what I was celebrating? I haven't even gotten the deal yet. I mean, I have in my head, this is where a little weird. I am counting this deal. It's already done. Charlie and I are best friends and he's bringing me multiple deals a month right now.
Yes.
But my win was that he answered the phone. My win was that there was no other offers. My win was that he broke down and dropped the 20K price point off of a very first conversation. Those are the things that I'm telling myself I won 3 times, where a lot of people would be like, oh my gosh, I don't have a proof of funds. I don't have a
Mhm.
buyer. I don't have this. I don't have that. You're already failing. So, yeah, no, I mean, this is definitely a winning strategy. And what we're doing here, I'm trying to go 2 for 3. I mean,
Yeah.
the one that
Yeah.
I didn't get was just no answer. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'll fall
Yeah.
back.
100%.
So let's go.
This one, 153 days on market, guys. This one in Tampa.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike. I think you're the one that has the listing on Richmere Street in Tampa. Is that yours?
Yes, it is.
Okay, awesome. Cool. I was just hoping I got the right number. I was calling off of Zillow. I saw it was listed. It looks like it was like 150 something days. I'm an investor. Should probably start with introducing myself. I'm based in Arizona. We've got some properties that we flipped out in Tampa, but I'm looking at my next project and I'm wondering if it could be this one. I'm just not sure about some of the details. So I figured I'd just give you a shout.
Sure.
Cool. So I mean, I see it's been sitting for 150 days. I don't want to like call out like the elephant in the room, but like, is there a specific reason? Is it like maybe the condition or something, or anything major about the property? Can you go through the photos?
I mean, I don't think so. She just wants a certain price for it. So.
Gotcha. So kind of sounds like she's not willing to budge too much then.
I mean, I'll tell you the lowest she'll take is 135 if you cover her closing costs.
Okay.
Which is about like $6,000 or something like that. I think.
Would that number be the same or lower if we wiped out like a buyer side commission?
Yeah, I mean that would be probably around like $6,000 or something like that.
Okay, so like, it's like 129 then.
Yeah, somewhere around here.
All right. Well, I really appreciate all the honesty and transparency there. What I want to do is I want to run the numbers past my crew and see if it's something that they feel comfortable with. And then as soon as we get their confirmation, I could send over, I don't know if it'd be best like text message and email, whatever is the best form of communication to you with what our offer terms would be.
Yeah, either way.
Okay.
Way, that's fine.
So just to confirm though, like there's nothing like structural or foundational issues or not that you know of.
Yeah, I mean, not that I know of, but I mean, I don't think there is. So.
Okay. Well, cool. The only other question I have is there any kind of specific terms or something the seller's looking for to make our offer a little more appealing, or is it just kind of straight up best price that we can do?
Yeah, I mean, best price. The faster you close, the better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It looks from the photos it's vacant. Is it still vacant?
No, it's there's someone in there right now. There's a tenant in there.
Okay. Are they
I mean,
month to month or?
They had a year lease from March, so their lease ends in March. But you know, they do have a clause in there that if she sells it they got to get it out in 30 days if that's what you wanted.
Okay. Cool. I mean, if you don't mind me asking, this could kind of change the way I run the numbers. First, do they want to stay in the property?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
I mean,
What's their current rent, if you don't mind me asking?
I want to say I think it's 16. It's either 15 or 1600. I can't remember the last time I looked at it, but I think that's what the numbers are, 15 or $1,600.
Okay. If you could do me a favor, I have to run the numbers with my contractor. I'm gonna be walking into a meeting with them in about like 15. If it's cool with you, let me run the numbers with them, and then we could touch base at the end of the night. If you could just check with the seller, or if they already have the answer from the tenants. I would be curious to know if they'd be open to signing like a multiple year lease. If they were, I think that we could offer a little bit higher on a price. So if they're open to that, then we could offer higher. If not, fix and flip is still a great option for us. I just want to make sure that we're trying to be different as investors. I don't want to be the guy that just comes in, offers fast cash, quick close, anything like that. I want to be the guy that does the best thing for the seller, for the tenant, for you as the agent, and then obviously we can make some money too.
Okay.
Cool.
Sounds
Awesome.
good.
Well, I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Cool. Well, that was easy. The reason I asked there at the end about the lease was because in my head, just doing math there, I was like, well, call it 1,600 a month, times that by 12, we're at 19.2 on the year. This is gross numbers, by the way. We're not talking like net. 19.2 divide by a 129, which, by the way, if you guys saw me go from 135 to 129, like that knocked off another 6K. That's a almost 15% return gross. So what I did was $1,600 a month times by 12 months, we're at 19.2. Divide that by your purchase price. So divide that by 129, we're at 14.8. So 14.8% return. What do a lot of investors want in a rental? It's an 8 to 10% return. We have to factor in the property conditions not the greatest. Could I rent it out and possibly raise the rent? The thing I asked there to qualify that was, does the tenant want to stay in there for multiple years? Because if they're looking for 2-year lease and they've consistently paid without missing any payments, $1,600 a month, we've got a deal here for a buy and hold investor that's just looking to park capital. So that's the stuff, thinking outside the box, trying to show you guys some different options. But that deal's been sitting for 150 days. We made it work.
Nice. Wow, that was awesome to see. If you guys are getting value out of this, then let us know in the chat. Ryan deserves it with all these awesome examples and just value that he puts out. I always love to just see what you're going to do in the conversations with these agents, Ryan. It's just awesome to see. So
appreciate that.
Yeah.
We got a few questions here I'll go through.
Yeah.
That real estate guy, how often do you follow up with these agents you call? And what is the conversation like? Is it as simple as, hi, Ryan, just calling to see if you have anything in the pipeline that I could buy? If you want to be like every other wholesaler, I mean, that's great. I don't think that's a bad line. I just think that that's one that you got from somebody's website or script. What I would say is, hey, Ryan, just reaching out. Not sure if you remember me. I called about the property out on 23rd Street. Just wanted to reach out. Did you get that one sold? Oh, you did? Dude, congrats. I love that. I love closings. Do you have anything else coming up? See how that was a little bit different, a few different, just there's a tonality change. There was more personable traits of telling them specific examples of a deal that I'm referencing. Not just some random guy that's calling you to follow up and follow up. People like doubt on me when I talk about MLS, and I freaking love it. Like, that's like one of my favorite things that gets me going. What you don't realize is that, what are we looking for direct to seller and off market agent outreach? We are looking for motivation to sell. So a seller that is actually willing to take a property off market and sell it for what is less than they could get on market. 9 times out of 10, people will just trade speed and convenience for price. So that's what we're looking for. On market, you at least know they want to sell. On market, the agent already has a potential deal that you were already interested in. So if that agent already goes and finds opportunities you're looking for, they found the bone. The dog found the bone. Pat the dog on the head and ask the dog if it can go find another bone. That's literally all that is. So in a super nice, respectful, obviously not calling the realtor a dog way, you're going to go and say, hey, I appreciate you. Dude, congratulations on selling that property. I want the next one. What do I got to do to find that next deal? I mean, who was it that bought it from you? Do I need to like make a joke, have fun with it? Obviously just show personality. And at the end of the day, they're going to be like, dude, I love that guy's energy. I love that guy's vibe. He is totally different than the rest. So
I love it. Just great to see this broken down differently.
Cool. I've said Ryan's tonality coming across as, hey, I'm following you with your lead, yet he's asking next level questions. Pretty slick. Tonality is everything. I think that if you can match what it is that they're speaking at level wise and confidence wise, they're normal people. There's nothing crazy. I would even argue most of us as investors can probably hold our own in a conversation with a realtor more than a realtor could hold their own with a conversation with an investor. So cool. Holy cow. All the love today. I appreciate you guys. Marcel, Don, Javier. Love you guys. Cool. We got one more. What we got?
Yeah. Let's do one more. This is another one it's been on one day, but it's another, you already proved with the first call that you can still have a good conversation and somebody's not getting offers.
Let me see here. I'm going to show you guys personality. This is a personality side.
Okay. I'll show you guys too.
It's Wendy.
Hey, Wendy, I might have the wrong number. I got this from Zillow. I'm looking at a property that's listed on Henry Avenue. I'm not sure if that one's yours.
Yes, and it went under contract.
That was going to be my first guess, was that was too good of a deal to be on market to not have multiple offers day one. So
yeah, it did.
Gotcha. I'm assuming cash over list.
It didn't go over list.
Okay.
Matter of fact, none of the offers were over list.
Wow. Okay.
I know.
And
I was kind of shocked myself.
Well, let me ask you, while I got you on the phone, do you find a lot of these opportunities that you list that kind of fit the buy box for like an investor?
Yeah.
Okay. What do I got to do to be number one on that list to get that property?
You can email me. I can put you in my phone, and it truly depends on, I've got a lot of investors. They don't come close to asking price, so I don't even deal with them.
Sure.
Because it's wasting my time.
Well, this one, I was going to come in and I was going to be right around that list price. I might have been like the other investors slightly below, but I typically don't call unless it seems like it's worth the while. A lot of times, full transparency, our numbers are pretty low on some of those bigger remodel ones. But if it's turn and burn, I'm pretty easygoing. We are based in Phoenix, but we've expanded out to the Florida market. So I could show you some of our past flips and proof of funds, whatever it is you need from us. I just want to try to establish a relationship with a realtor that has opportunities that we could actually purchase.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Cool.
I would send your stuff over to me, your email and name, and I'll put you in my phone as a good contact.
Okay. Awesome. Well, and I'm not going to blow up your phone or anything. I'll save you as my favorite realtor out there in Florida. And then if there's anything that pops up, just don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'll send you over an email with everything broken down. But I'm looking to buy something ideally in the next 30 days. So if we can find something, that'd be awesome. Would love for you to represent us and help us out in the transaction.
Okay.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Wendy. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right.
Come on,
guys. Let's go. It's just like that. It's like that.
Wait, here, show this one real quick. This is it, guys. One day on market, but who cares that it's under contract now? You got your favorite realtor in Tampa now.
I was about to say Orlando because we were talking about that earlier, and I was like, I don't think it's Orlando. I think it's Tampa. So I just said Florida. But no, that was exactly how you play it. You call day one listings and probably 1 million cash offers above list. Oh, wow. Only one that was at list and you took that one. Okay. So what I'm hearing is that there's still a lot of activity, but I just wasn't fast enough. That's all that meant. That wasn't that I wasn't good enough. I just wasn't fast enough. So that's all good. We got the next one, and look at how I positioned it. No stone left unturned. Wendy, I love you. I appreciate you. I want you to love and appreciate me. How do we get on this list? Just email me. Okay. Save me as your contact, and it's your best buyer ever, and you're my favorite realtor ever. And you already said you find a lot of opportunities that fit the buy criteria for investors. And I just told you I'm looking for something in 30 days or less. Do you notice how I turned the conversation from calling about a specific property to then saying, well, I'm looking for the next deal. If it's not this one, it's the next. School is over. We're done.
I love that. Yeah, I love that too, because it's it's the same idea, or how the conversation switched over to what you're usually doing on these shows, but you started off with a property that's on the market. So calling about something, it's almost like, if there's anybody that's like, well, how do I start the conversation with a real estate agent if I'm going to be let's just say they're just trying to establish those relationships and trying to see if they do have anything that they run into. Why not try calling about a listing, even if it's just been on one freaking day? And
there was a whole other spiel there that I could have gone down the rabbit hole if I had a little bit more time, that I would have explained to her how a lot of the cash offers she got might have been wholesalers. That's not to throw other wholesalers under the bus. That's the education piece of what I'm preaching. The education is just to make sure, because if I'm not involved in the transaction, I'm not trying to cross them. I'm trying to best protect her client because she probably doesn't know any better. I'm not trying to insert myself in the transaction. There's no representation. I'm not crossing any lines because I'm not hurting anybody. I'm trying to warn the agent of some things that they could do just to protect their client. Can you make sure the earnest money is non-refundable? Can you make sure during the inspection period, it's qualified people that are going out to the property? It's not just other buyers that's making the seller get out for an hour, 2, 3 hours to get a bunch of buyers in. Can we make sure this is a clean cut process? And at the end of the day, we want just as much as the realtor wants what's best for the seller. I even mentioned that on the phone with one of the other people. It was like, I'm not your typical investor. I'm not the guy that's going to come in and take advantage of grandma. I'm not the guy that's going to go in there and say, I spot opportunity and then flex it all over social media when I took advantage of somebody else's situation. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to do what's best for, obviously, myself as a business owner, not a charity, but I'm going to do what's best for everybody else around me. If it doesn't make sense for them, I'm not going to encourage them to go and do this. That's the thought process for me, thinking of the long run. Yes, some opportunities will come across where it is just so dirt cheap of a deal, and the seller is completely fine with it because that's what they're looking for. In those situations, absolutely have fun, make your money, stack it away, pay taxes or offset taxes, but just make sure you're protecting yourself, just like how you'd want to do if you were the seller and somebody else was trying to come in and be the investor.
Love it. Awesome. If you guys have questions or anything for Ryan, let him know. Put a like on this video as well. Oh, did we put the link? I don't know if you guys are
let me do that. Let me grab some links. And also, like Landry said, I mean, guys, we don't charge for the show. All we ask is that if you found some value, share the video, post it on your social media page, tag a friend, share it with a friend, whatever it is you guys wanted to do. We appreciate you and your support, all of you guys that have made it to the end here. Our goal is to build this as a community and also just provide as much value as possible. There's a lot of stuff that isn't talked about that I feel like that shouldn't be behind the scenes. So if we could show you what the acquisition style looks like, the rest of it with disposition and your exit strategy is dependent on you and your goals. I'm not going to go in there and bottleneck you and say, you have to wholesale, you have to fix and flip, you have to go and do this. You should go do what makes the most sense for you and your family and whoever it is that you're trying to take care of. So batchleads.io/Zolin. If you guys are looking for a community of agents and investors, I have a community Discord. Would love for you to check it out. agentinvestors.com/Discord will bring you there. Feel free to come in, collaborate. My community is super awesome, where they actually do live coaching calls every day, Monday through Friday. I mean, Landry, you were here like 2 weeks ago, and shout out to Marie, but Marie was sitting there, Marie pulled out her phone. We had like 7 or 8 people at like 8 o'clock at night, Arizona time, so 11 o'clock Eastern, that were sitting there comping properties, working together, calling agents, doing their thing. We've got it. So if you're looking for that community, come in, collaborate, get some feedback, get the ropes, just be a fly on the wall. I've got it. agentinvestors.com/Discord. We also have something that I am going to announce that we'll have a little more detail next week, but just wanted to tease it a little bit. We've got our mastermind coming up November 3rd and 4th. It's a Friday, Saturday. If you are interested in going, I'm going to be giving out maybe 1 or 2 tickets for anybody that watches this show that has shown us that they've signed up for Batch. So get the free trial, sign up, let us know, send a screenshot, whether it's to me, Landry, we'll figure out how that all works, but we're going to be giving out a couple tickets to my mastermind. It's going to be an awesome in-person event, November 3rd and 4th. Would love to have you guys there. I put the event on for my diamond tier students. So we've got people flying across the country, coming in, hanging out. It should be a great time. So.
Gosh, that's so freaking awesome. That's so generous and an opportunity that you guys don't want to miss out on. So
it's gonna be fun stuff, but we'll have some more details and we'll go through that at a later date. We got like 5 minutes here, Landry. If we don't have any questions, we'll probably just call it early. But if you guys have any questions, we'll give you 1 second here. Drop it below. Let us know. Landry, any other closing thoughts, final thoughts?
I think, as you know, I love the system side of things and all this stuff. And some of the biggest or most frequently asked questions that I see all over YouTube or to myself or wherever. What's the best list to pull? What's the best exact filter? And every time that you guys are coming here, especially if you're going about it in this strategy or anything else, we're here to show you that it doesn't have to be the list that everybody goes and tells you to pull. It could be something just thinking outside of the box to find. I always tell people, like, paint the picture of the type of person that you are, the type of situation that they might be in. Put a couple filters on, don't overthink it, and then just go and just roll with it. Call people. You never know what the motivation really is. You never know what's really going on until you just ask. So
I love it.
I think that's just my last piece with this stuff. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just don't
100% agree.
push yourself, too quickly.
We always say this business is simple, but it's not easy. The action steps we tell you to do really are simple. The not easy part is the consistency. It's the mindset. It's the finding the right tribe around you and the community that's going to help you and support you get to all of your goals. So
Yes.
We'll end it on that note. We appreciate you guys. If you found value, make sure to share it, subscribe, like it, all that fun stuff. We will see you guys next week. Hope you have a great one. Peace out.